What their request was to once again review that treadmill video that they saw throughout this trial. So with this footage at the center of a trial that all eyes are on, let's bring in our own experts to see what they make of this footage. We have with us now, board certified forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Dr. Carol Lieberman, your thoughts on this video, what we're seeing, and let me know if we still have Dr. Carol Lieberman. If not, oh, okay, let's
yes,
there you are.
I'm here.
I want to ask you about Corey's demeanor in that video. I think that strikes me as well, is that he doesn't have this reaction of what you would expect perhaps a child to be feeling if pain was being inflicted on him. Even when he's falling off of the treadmill, he seems rather stoic. What's your analysis of not only his demeanor, but his father's actions there?
Yes, if that were a bite, and again, that was not proven by any doctor that it was, Corey would have a different reaction. You know, it would be like, ow, it would be like, you know, he'd look at his father. It doesn't go along with that. You know, perhaps it's hard to tell. I mean, it's not going to be Father of the Year, obviously, from this video, but I think it's a far cry from child endangerment to murder. And the thing is, I was very struck. You know, the problem is that before the trial starts, or when it starts, when the jury sees this video for the first time, of course, it comes across as a father. If he didn't do something particularly during that time that caused his death, it showed a father who was perhaps insensitive to his child, you know, and that perhaps he could abuse him after. But then when you look at the mother, you know, how she was in the courtroom, and this whole story about her using drugs and not telling the doctors that she was using drugs, and she took Corey to the doctor and didn't tell them, you know, of course, that she was using drugs. They wouldn't have sent him home with her in the first place if they knew that she was using drugs. So there's a lot more from the mother. There are a lot of conflicting parts to this story. And the problem is that it's so tempting to just go from this video and say, oh God, he must have, you know, he's an abusive father and he must have killed him.
And you mentioned the analysis that some of the people around them were doing during this abuse allegations that were going back and forth between this mother and this father. And there was a triage nurse who actually testified because the demeanor became a big issue in this trial, one where the defense said you can't really tell much from the demeanor of this father, even at the hospital when his son was being worked on. Let's take a listen to that sound and talk about it on the other side. Dr. Lieberman, we have the video. This video overall is difficult to watch, but this jury is paying attention to this video. They asked for it. And outside of the bite, which we've already talked about, we have this footage of little Corey on the treadmill falling off over and over again, and his father upping the speed on this treadmill. And no doubt he should know that there are cameras in this public gym. It's not clear if he knew that he was being photographed, but would that raise concerns? I know we've been talking about just the video, but now looking wider, because this jury is weighing whether or not abuse like this happened all of the time to the point of murder. Are you seeing that when you watch a video like this of a father doing this in this circumstance?
I mean, you know, obviously a father or a parent shouldn't keep putting their child on a treadmill if the child keeps falling off. But, you know, he was a surprise parent. In other words, the mother didn't tell him that he had a child, a son, until he was 5 years old, approximately. So he's kind of learning, you know, how to be a parent to this child. And in the hospital, he's holding the child in a very close way, in a very affectionate way. I think he's in shock. You know, he doesn't know what to do other than to convey the details of what happened. But I don't think you can judge from that, you know, what he was feeling. And it's this video is, you know, it keeps being the video and the video. The defense attorney really put on a good closing argument, and it really, you know, spoke to how there was so much that the mother did wrong. He wasn't saying, and I'm not saying that the mother, you know, murdered the child, but there's just more to this story that I don't think the jury is hearing.
That could certainly be the case. They did have the mother on the stand, but she has not been charged with any aggravated child abuse like the father is. But certainly this jury paying close attention to that part of this. could mean that they are focused on the aggravated child abuse charge more than the murder charge. We don't know. We will see when those deliberations continue tomorrow. A big thanks to our expert, Dr. Carol Lieberman, for joining us and sharing this analysis.